Hi, welcome to the Asynchronous Orientation for Volunteer Proofreaders for Project Gutenberg. To get started, let's first find the presence page for the org. You can search that by searching to tinyurl.com/vppgutd or by searching us through the organizations at UT Dallas's presence page. Here you'll see our description, where we are an organization that provides completely virtual volunteer opportunity to UTD students by working with Project Gutenberg to proofread ebooks to provide them for free online through their website. Join here as a member to get started. As well, join our Discord so that you can communicate with our community. As you watch through this asynchronous presentation, be sure to go to the Presence page under the Forms tab and fill out the asynchronous form to be added as a member of Volunteer Proofreaders Project Gutenberg. Once you have signed up through Discord, you will see the limited side of our server. The main area to focus now is on the Orientations tab, where you will see the asynchronous sign-up steps and a chat room in case you run into any issues. Follow these instructions to help navigate you during the orientation. Be sure to use this information down here to fill out the Discord portion of your form, where it's your username and this number that also identifies you. Once your fully completed form is submitted, you will then be given access to all of the channels and resources available throughout our server. This is the recent site for Project Gutenberg, who is an online library with over 60,000 free ebooks. The way that this site provides ebooks for free is that it focuses on books that have no longer an active U.S. copyright. Usually this takes about 100 years for a U.S. copyright to expire. Once they have expired, distributor proofreaders is able to take these works and scan them and turn them into ebooks. And they do that through the process of recruiting proofreaders and project managers to get this accomplished, to provide this complete ebook to be added to the online library. The URL for Project Gutenberg is gutenberg.org. Distributor Proofreader is a nonprofit that works with Project Gutenberg to enlist all of the proofreaders to get these works turned into ebooks. The link to this will be provided in the resource page of the Google Drive. In the asynchronous form, please provide us an email that you would like to have added to our Google Drive. In our Google Drive, we like to provide many resources for our members. Things related to proofreading, as well as things that students can find beneficial, such as compiled scholarships for UTD, leadership opportunities, and other free online resources. For proofreading, we offer beginner materials, as well as refresher content to help keep your skills up. We are always looking to expand our resources, so let us know if you have any ideas. On the Google Drive, there is a folder for the rules. These rules include a copy of the Constitution and bylaws in which the organization holds itself by. There is an official student rules that all of the proofreaders should abide by, as well as a recap of the required and optional preferences. In the official student rules, remember only one account per student. In the form, we take your account and attach this to your net ID. If you ever need to change your account, please let our volunteer service officer know so that we can verify your account up until that point and switch your account information to your new account afterwards. Please do not be under the influence of any drugs or alcohol while volunteering. This is to maintain integrity of your work. As a comment, you have the Comet Creed, where you pledge honesty, integrity, and service in everything you do, so be sure to only submit your best work and to never finalize any unfinished pages. Be sure to keep the required settings active in your preferences page, and when you're early on getting started, try not to do more than 25 pages in your beginners only sections, so it gives enough time for the mentors to get back to you with your feedback so that you can make improvements and do better on your future proofreadings. To get started, we'll start with the Just Getting Started information. Here, we'll have the resource links. On the first link will be the front page to Distributor Proofreaders for Project Gutenberg. Here, you can register for an account in Distributor Proofreaders where you will be doing the proofreading work. Feel free to go ahead and create an account. You don't need to use your UTD email, any email that you would like. Just keep in mind that whatever username you choose cannot be changed in the future. Only your password. Once you fill out this form, an email will be sent to your email address. Be sure to activate your account through that email and provide us your username once you have completed this. Once your account is created, feel free to bookmark the Activity Hub, or you can always access it through these resource links. If you ever have difficulty navigating the page, as it could potentially be a little overwhelming as it's a new website to you, here is a wiki that can help you learn the main navigation through the site. When it comes to proofreading, there are multiple ways for you to learn how to do so. And again, it is easy and no prior experience is necessary. So if you like to learn on your own through a wiki, there's an excellent wiki that explains everything that you could ever encounter as a proofreader. It is divided through individual characters to the level of a sentence and a paragraph, as well as the entire page and some common problems that you might encounter. This is a very extensive guide, as it encounters pretty much everything you would ever see as a proofreader, but keep in mind there is a quizzes and tutorials area that takes into consideration most of the most average things that you would encounter and is a great place to start there. What we like to focus here in the proofreading guide is the primary rule. The primary rule is that we won't change what the author wrote. Again, these books being about 100 years old, sometimes more, there can be words that have been changed in their spelling, or maybe they come from a different country and where they spell words a little differently, such as England. The author can also change the spelling of words intentionally to portray different literary techniques, such as to cause a character to have an accent, or to have a dialogue between two characters where one character might have a higher or lower intelligence than the other. Some things also written by the authors can be in a viewpoint that is different than we have in present day, and so they could be racist, it could be biased, and it could be things that we don't agree with. So if that ever is the case, we do still leave it that way. We don't censor any of the material. If you don't agree with what the author has written, you can always switch to another project at any time. So remember that we are proofreaders and not editors. Whatever the author has originally intended in the original page is what we have to make sure that we mimic in the text and make sure that it will match. If you prefer a more interactive method of learning, there is the forums. The forums is an area where you can post a new topic, ask a question, and other experienced people can answer that question, add to it, and we can continue the dialogue. So here are the links to the common proofreading Q&A, where you can see previous posts that have already been made saying, "I'm new here, how do I start?" Or learning from past proofreaders, explain that difference. This will actually be more advanced, but is also a great way to learn from proofreaders. You can submit your own questions or search through the multitude of questions already asked and to learn from them. As well as you can use the search feature to see if maybe your question that you have has already been asked. To get started, the best place is the tutorials and quizzes. In this link, you'll see that there are multiple interactive proofreading quizzes. It's always best to start off with the basic. So the basics are these two blocks. Be sure to start here, as it is a great base to have in your proofreading skills. As you feel more comfortable and you want to eventually move off away from the beginners only projects, you could start to do the moderate proofreading skills as well as the specialized proofreading skills. In the specialized, these are going to be special topic books, such as books from the 1600s, books with Greek transliteration, or sometimes things that have ligatures or special fonts. When you go to begin a quiz, you first go by reading the tutorial. You'll choose for the first page, click on tutorial. The tutorial will give you a small intro into the idea of the rule and how you would make the change. So as you read your way through and you've completed the reading, you can click on continue to the quiz. The quiz is interactive, and as you begin to fill out, you can see that if you click check, it'll let you know if you have missed something that you should have changed. So as you go and make those changes, you'll notice that it will update and it'll let you know where the next issue is. Once you have made all of the necessary changes and you hit submit again, it'll let you know that congratulations, you have solved this quiz. You can then move on to the next quizzes to finish off the basic section, or you can pause here and come back at a later time. Once you have finished these first two blocks, we can then move on to the beginners only sections where you will get mentoring on those projects after you've completed a few pages. Before getting started on your first proofreading page, let's go to the preference sections and make a few changes here to best make your settings so that proofreading can be easier for you. In the preference area, make sure that in this general tab that you leave your statistics as private. This will allow us just to see your total pages completed overall, so that at the end of the semester we can quickly tally up all of our members without having to contact you. Leaving this as anonymous makes you invisible to everyone, and we would be unable to see your progress as well as verify your hours. Everything else here you are free to change except for the statistics. Next, click on the Proofreading tab, and here we'll make some changes. On both of the sides, please change the font face to the DP Sans Mono. This is a font specifically made for proofreading that makes characters very easily identifiable so that they won't be commonly confused like other fonts can. This being L's and I's and 1's being indifferentiable, where in this font they make them highly unique so that in case the OCR program generates the wrong character, you'd be easily able to identify them and make the correct change. So for the required changes, the font face is the only one. Again, be sure that you change it on both sides. The next three are suggested changes First being the launch a new window. In case you don't like multiple windows or in case you have a pop-up blocker, be sure that you change this to no. This is often a preference most proofreaders enjoy. Next, the interface type. Enhanced is a better version. If you wish to start off on standard, you can. After about 20 pages or so, you'll be more used to proofreading, so that enhanced could be more beneficial. Most proofreaders enjoy the enhanced version. It makes it a little easier to read, as well as the buttons are a little sleeker and eventually become very easy to identify, and it makes proofreading a little smoother. Lastly is the interface layout, where you get the double horizontal view. If you make this selection, it is much easier to read in this form, as it mimics a book where there are texts on both sides, as opposed to having text above and below each other, where you constantly have to scroll to view all of the sentences of both pages. Once you have made your changes, remember to save your preferences on the bottom here. All of the other sections of this preferences can be unique to your computer screen or where you might be proofreading, where zoom and text frame size can all be different for whichever computer you are using. Here's an explanation of how these projects are completed. In the Activity Hub, you'll see that once the project has been started, which it starts after the book has been scanned, an OCR program has been run to try to best mimic the characters written on the page, and a project manager has been determined, there will be 3 rounds of proofreading, 2 rounds of formatting, and then post-processing, where they take all those pages and compile that into the final e-document. Then there will be smooth reading, which is basically a way for the proofreaders to kind of have an early access to the projects they've worked on, so they can read it before it gets launched to the final page.
To clarify your role as a proofreader, only the proofreading rounds will be able to be used for our verification credit. The later rounds of formatting, post-processing, and smooth readings cannot be verified, as they either fluctuate far too wildly on the amount of work per page, or there is no way to track the work completed on those. And so just the proofreading rounds will be considered for our credit.
With projects, every account starts with proofreading round 1, and so a lot of projects finish this stage fairly quickly, though there are always constant projects being worked on at all times. So there's never a shortage of hours. We encourage you to continue working and leveling up your account to later stages and working on projects in those later stages. This really helps out the projects, as often projects get stuck in these areas, especially proofreading round 3 and formatting round 2. These projects and pages take a little more time and is better incentivized by hours given. When beginning in proofreading rounds, you can go to the Activity Hub and scroll down and click on Proofreading Round 1, or in our navigation bar, there is also a shortcut to P1. On the P1 page, you'll see some general news added, often just being the just getting started links, as well as a random rule just to keep you updated on the guidelines and any new rule, or just a cycling rule to keep you sharp on your skills of proofreading. If you continue to scroll down, you will see the multitude of projects being worked on at one time. On the top, we'll have the beginners only sections. As you scroll down, you can see a few other languages and many projects in English, as well as lots of genres, some labeled hard, some labeled easy, and the rest being a medium. As you continue to scroll, some will have English transliterated with ancient Greek, Hawaiian, Latin, as well as some others, and other languages. If you wish to work on other languages, we ask that you be somewhat fluent so that if there's ever an accent mark that gets smudged away, or there are words that have been tweaked by the OCR program that needs to be returned, that you know the language enough to make those changes correctly. But as we're getting started, we will select an English project in the Beginners Only section. Here, keep in mind that the active available pages are listed on the side, where it's best to start on projects where there are still a good amount of pages so you can work on a few of them prior to finishing your day. If there is ever a time where there are 0 pages available in the Beginners Only section for English, normally this won't happen for very long as it gets updated fairly quickly. Just find an easy project, work on here for about 20 to 30 minutes, and come back to see if a Beginners Only project has been made available. The benefit to Beginners Only projects is that you will receive an inbox message about a day or two after you've completed some pages there. This inbox message will be a mentor feedback where an experienced proofreader will review your work, thank you for your efforts, and help you in improving on your proofreading skills by showing you changes that should be made on those pages if you missed them or maybe edited them a little incorrectly. These mentors are also here to answer any of the questions you have, so feel free to respond to them after you've read through their mentorship. Once you're ready to get started on a Beginners Only project, click on the title of the work, and it'll take you to the Beginners Project page. Here we'll give you some basic information on the project. Once you're in a project, always click on the good and the bad words links. Good words are words that exist in the dictionary of this book. It perhaps might not be in the standard English dictionary, but for this book, these words are real words. Normally, these are character names or setting locations, or possibly just the way an author spelled certain words that would be different than the dictionary spelling. Also, click on the bad words. These are words that the OCR program is consistently misspelling that is different than the way that the author intended the spelling to be. For this example, this word, the A and E should have a ligature. Please refer to the specialty quizzes on ligatures on information on how to insert a ligature when proofreading. Another key component to check prior to starting the project is to see if there are any forum posts about this project. Here we'll show you a link and also let you know how many replies have been made to this forum. In this area, you can post a question to the project manager for this project. Say you encounter something you're unsure on how to proofread, feel free to write that question. But be sure to leave the page numbers of the scanned image and the OCR page so they can best help in your project page. Once you have opened the words list and the forum, go ahead and begin to read the area below that will keep you updated on these individual projects. In this area below will be information that will be specific to these projects to make sure that anyone working on these projects are all on the same page and making the changes the same way so that the project can be fluid. In the beginners only projects, it is generally about all the same, refreshing you on any of the beginner instructions that you have learned from the quizzes. But as you move on to the easy, medium, and hard projects, where things can be added here that would be different than maybe what you've learned previously, and so this would override anything you have learned in the previous quizzes so that anyone who works on those projects can make the same changes. An example of a medium project is this, where it'll let the proofreaders specifically know any special things, usually always being running the word check in all the proofreading rounds, and any other comments that would be particular to that round of editing on the project. Once you have read your way through, click on the Start Proofreading link. This is how a project looks. You'll have the image of the project on the left, where this is original scanned document, and you'll have the OCR program generate a text that should mimic that image as best as it can. As you learned through the quizzes, certain things is what you're interested in looking for, such as removing the page numbers and the book's name, or any repeating text, as well as looking for any end-of-the-line hyphenations, which you would learn how to edit. As you first click through there, remember that there is the Run Word Check feature, as well as 4 saving features. Saving in progress so that you can return to your project within 4 hours and still be able to complete it for your credit, where you can save and go to the next page and continue to proofread on that project. Or if it's your last project or last page of the day, or you want to switch to a different project and you've completed this page, click Save as Done. Or if maybe by accident you entered a page or you don't wish to complete this page, hit Stop Proofreading so that you can leave the page and be redirected back to the project page and leave the project. When it comes to students who need hours verified for their degree or for any other reason, here is a how and when to ask for volunteer verification. If you're a student who needs your hours verified, be sure that you schedule your hour verification within 60 days of your first day where you've completed 5 or more pages. If you're a student who needs just a general letter of participation or recommendation, be sure to meet with the volunteer service specialist at least twice per semester. Once you need your first hour verification, be sure that you've at least completed around 50 pages and you've waited a week beyond that so that you have gotten past the point of mentorship so that you can verify your first few pages. Try not to complete more than 200 pages in this first one, and try to verify no sooner than 21 days, but no later than 60 days. If you have reached 200 pages within 21 days, that is okay. Please let the 21-day mark be reached first. But if you are reaching 400 pages, be sure that you have scheduled this prior to the 400th page. If you have not completed 50 pages within 60 days, do meet at the 60-day mark. For reoccurring hour verifications, for JSOM, they do have the requirement that we'll have it be every 60 days, starting at the next day where you have 5 or more pages. For anyone else who doesn't have any rules set by where they need to verify their hours to, be sure to meet at least twice per semester. Use the Discord to find the link for Sign Up Genius, where you may schedule for the hour verification meeting that should take no longer than 30 minutes to verify all your hours, as well as have a live mentorship for all the work you've completed thus far. Again, be sure to completely fill out the form in the Volunteer Proofreaders for Project Gutenberg Presence page so that we may have all of your information, add you to all of the places necessary, and consider you a member of our org so we may go forward and verify your hours once they are needed. Thank you for watching our asynchronous orientation. If you have any troubles signing the form or at any point throughout the video, do remember that you can submit into the orientation chat if you have any issues, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Or if any of our officers are online, please feel free to reach out to them and we'll help you out right away. Consider joining and following our Instagram at comet.proofreaders, and have a great day. Bye-bye.